Alright, welcome everybody to BackChat. Today we'll be speaking to Phatutshedzo Maswanganyi. I'm just gonna wait for him to log on and then we're gonna get going. He'll send me an invite anytime soon and then we're gonna get going. Alright, BackChat. Today, as I said, we're gonna be speaking to Phatutshedzo Maswanganyi. We're just waiting for him to connect and then we're
How's
gonna
it?
get
How's it?
My brother,
How's it?
how you doing?
I'm good, and yourself?
All good, man. Yo, I'm really excited about this one, man. I think there's a lot of people who are waiting to hear what we're going to be chatting about. But this is BackChat, where we chat all things athletics, life, motivation, and I think you've got an amazing story to tell, man. So definitely excited about this one. How you doing?
I'm keen. I'm good. I'm all good. Lockdown treating me nice. I'm getting a little bit lighter. I can't even do much, but I'm trying. I'm getting by.
Oh, so the yellow, the bones are proper yellow now.
I'm not even yet. I'm looking pink. I'm looking a little bit pink, but as soon as track comes back, we live. We live.
Yeah. All right, let me do a quick introduction before we get started. Maybe people are on here and they don't know who Phatutshedzo Maswanganyi is, but I won't take too long. Otherwise, I don't want to get into big CVs. I'm just going to keep it simple.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to keep it simple so that they know who we're dealing with here, who we're talking to.
Yes, sir.
So that's what we're going to be doing. So over here we've got Phatutshedzo Maswanganyi, obviously the SA 100-meter record holder for the under 20 juniors. I'm gonna start with that.
Yes, sir.
African Championships under 20, 200-meter gold medalist, as well as 100-meter silver medalist. Man, you've got so much talent, man, and you're on your rise. Off to America soon, but I think the journey has only just begun, man. So just tell us. Let's just start with you being the SA South African 100-meter record holder. Before I even talk about many other things, how does it feel, man? Obviously, this is something special to you, but how does it feel?
It feels amazing. Every day I just think about it. I mean, like like I'm with my friend right now, and like sometimes I just analyze the race. I'll just be chilling at home and I just look at that race. I'm like, I can't believe I could do that. I can't believe I did that. And if you asked me
Yeah,
this question 5 years ago, do I think I would break the like SA record? I don't even doing track, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
so it really means a lot to me, and I cherish it like every single moment. I just look at my video. I'm like, wow, I'm so happy. Like I'm just proud of
Yeah.
myself.
Come on, man. Like, you talk about 5 years ago. I get so excited when I think about that race because, like, we were there. Like, I'm there, finish line.
Live.
Like, it
Live
felt
and
like I ran
direct.
that thing. Yeah.
I'm saying you're alive. You're alive. You're there.
Hey, man, I was live. And just like you said 5 years back. If you thought 5 years back, you thought you were gonna be doing this. Can you tell us? Obviously, I know you're multi-talented. You do play rugby, and I think you identified yourself as a long jumper as well. You still do. So, was athletics always your first love, or did this come about as you? How did your athletics journey start? Let's just take it from there.
So when I came to St. Albans, or like when I went to St. Albans, I didn't want to even go there in the first place because my mom just said, "Nah, you just going there." I'm like, okay." I didn't even fight with her. I just said, "Okay, I'll go." And then I got there, and obviously I was more of like a basketball and rugby guy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
played soccer just to build my boys, and then like my friends were like, "Yeah, nah, bro, you should push basketball. You should push basketball." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I pushed basketball. I did well in my rugby season, and then soccer came. I did well. Then my athletics coach kept trying to come in sideways. He's like, "Yeah, you should try track, try one or two things." I'm like, I don't know about that, chief. And then, but I went to one league meet. I think when the tax track was still red. I remember I went to
Yeah,
one league meet.
that's a
It was
while
at
back.
night even. Yeah, I was a nobody. I ran with seniors. Hey, I got washed. I got washed. I'm like, I'm good. This is not my scene. I don't belong here. I was 14 at the time. I'm like, I don't belong here. This is not my scene. Thanks, coach. It was good, but Yeah, that's not my thing. And this was like mid basketball season. So end of the year
Yeah.
came. I had interhouse. Yeah, interhouse. I remember I ran 11-2 hand timing, and then the 200 I did badly because I fell out the bend. I was running bare feet back then, and then yeah, it was just tough. But then I won the long jump. I broke my school record. Then I actually started seeing like a bit of a vision. Then my coach sat me down. He spoke to me. He's
Yeah.
like, "Nah, listen. I genuinely believe you have talents, and I feel like you can do something special." So I'm like, a lot of people have told me this. They've sold me this dream, but I'm like, let me trust into it. Let me buy this dream. I mean? Then I decided to start training with them all the way through. I've never had a December since then.
Mm. Hey
Yeah,
man, those are the sacrifices you have to make, and
that is
I
true.
think sometimes people don't always get to see that. That's why like these conversations are so important, man, because like there's a 14-year-old there. I mean, you were playing basketball, you were playing soccer, you didn't care much about athletics, but I mean, look at you now. It's just 4 to 5 years later, as a record holder in the. I mean, and let's look at that record. I mean, the people that have broken that record were some big dog. I mean, Akani Simbini had it. It went to Gifli Otela. Then it was um,
Lolo.
was it? Yeah, Tando Zozo had it. Now it's you, man. I mean, you're the first guy to go sub 10-10 as a junior. So I mean, that's what athletics is about, man. We're always looking out for the new guys gonna come out and just mess things up,
Yes,
in
that's
a good
true.
way.
That's
In a good
true.
way.
Yeah.
So yeah, before we get into much more deeper questions, we're gonna play a game, man. 30 seconds. I've got my watch here. I'm gonna test your knowledge a bit. 100-meter guys, you guys just wanna run your event, you wanna run your sprints, and then you leave. You don't even know what's happening on the track. I'm gonna catch you out, man. 30
I don't
seconds.
think.
Very simple, man. I want you to give me a 400-meter lineup for men, 8 lanes, 30 seconds. Fill it up. Let's go.
Wait for Nikek, Fred Curly, prime time, of all time. Is it all time?
Anybody, just add it up. Fill up the lanes.
Magic Johnson. I'm not mentioning Michael Johnson. Uh, I'm thinking. Uh, I'm thinking. Yo, his name is Dave, but I can't put it.
And time. That's 4 out of
Yo,
8, bro.
I'm
4 out of
thinking.
8. And Magic Johnson made the list.
No, I was thinking Michael Johnson. These Americans.
You're killing me, man. Magic.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But you see how it's crazy to think that you're in the sport, but it's so easy to like get so focused in what you do that if I said 100 or 200, you're gonna fill it up like this, But I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just one
true.
event up, and it feels like I
Hey,
was
but
catching
400
you.
is a tough ball game. 400 is a tough ball game.
It's war, man. It's war. It's war. I mean,
Yeah.
even Wade says, I mean, if he loves the 200-meter more than he does the actual 4, it just shows how tough an event it is,
Mm.
So I want you to tell us, man. Obviously, I'm gonna take questions as well, guys. So just make sure if you wanna ask Phatutshedzo or something, just send a question, drop a question here in the comments, and then we're gonna ask some of those questions as well. So yeah, make sure to do that. So the next question comes. So why did you choose athletics? Obviously, like you said, I've seen you doing some of your dunking, which means you can play basketball. I mean, if you can dunk, you've been dunking for a long time, which means you've got the potential to be a good basketball player. So why did you choose athletics? Why did you choose athletics over all these other sports?
So with me, originally, after basketball, I kind of had a phase where I wanted to go into rugby because I was also doing well in rugby. But then rugby,
Yeah.
I'd have to gain weight, and it had like a lot of responsibilities of like constantly going to like train. And the thing is, rugby training is not nice. Rugby training is not
Hey.
nice. I know track is nice. I go there for my hour and 30 minutes. It's either gym or it's on the track. But then I know it's like during
Yeah.
nice times. Rugby, we playing 8 o'clock games. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
Cold,
Then I
eh?
thought basketball. You see, and like basketball in South Africa is big. It's not really that big, but it's on the rise. But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it's not the perfect time if you really want to like go far in the sport. And the only
yeah,
way I wanted to play college basketball.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
remember some of my dorm mates, even like remember that like yeah, grade 8, I was talking about going to LSU for basketball, not track. I
yeah,
wanted to go to LSU
yeah,
for basketball. That was still a far dream. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but somehow I'm gonna try get there. And
yeah,
then then somehow along the line, track came, and I just started rubbing off on me, and I started loving it even more.
yeah. But it's like that. It's like a bug, man. Like track is like, I think it's just like engraved in us, you know. Like it's like I mean, even if you look at Akani played soccer and he thought he's gonna be big in soccer. You thought you're gonna be big in
Yeah,
basketball. Most of the guys thought, you know, team sports are nice, man. It looks uh so easy, and it's fun, you know. High five and
yeah,
sing in the locker room, you know. Hey, athletics, man. Athletics. It's war, man. You walk into
facts.
the stadium, you know. You can smile and whatever, but once you line up, man, it's war out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people don't even talk to you there on the line in the call room. Everyone has earphones
Hey,
in. Everyone's quiet.
people are in their
Spikes
zone,
on.
man. Hey,
Mm.
so it's war, you know. I'm gonna ask another question here. Somebody asked Sana Baloi. She says, Patu, what time do you see yourself clocking in the future? Obviously, it's
Hey,
a big question. Uh, do you want to answer that? You need to answer the question, man. Let's hear what you got to say.
I don't want to like kind of limit myself and say now I want to run like a 9.6 or a 9.7
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
a 9.5, because
yeah,
that kind of limits you. And I feel like during training, you must always believe there's always more in the tank. So if you're gonna limit yourself in your mind and say, nah, I wanna run 9.8, when you can actually like go further and possibly run
yeah.
9.7, it's like athletics is a very mental thing. And I feel like
Absolutely.
that's the important part. That like you can't always limit yourself. You always have to think big. And not necessarily like share your
Absolutely.
goals all the time, but everyone knows what they really want to
Yeah,
run and that will satisfy them, but they won't really say it.
absolutely. No, big up. That's a brilliant question, man. Sometimes, you know, like with your dreams, man, sometimes the only people you need to share your dreams with is with those close to you, you know, those who are gonna back you and support you all the way. Obviously, you wanna go as fast as possible, and we
Mm.
already can see, man, that there's big things coming up. You know what I mean? But yeah, brilliant question. Answer. It's also a very good question. Thanks for that, Sana Baloi. Let's see if we got another one.
I think someone
Uh,
asked me how many spikes I have.
I don't know. I know how many you tear those things up so quickly. How many spikes do you have? I don't know. You need to tell us.
I don't even know. Right now I think I have three or four, because I have my 100, I have my 200, I have my long jump, and I have ones I use for relays on special occasions. I should have
Yeah,
had
yeah.
five, but I lost my other one. But I think four. And you'll be surprised how fast they die in a season, because you
Uh,
train with them, you
with that
compete
toe
with
drag, you
them.
guys are toe dragging for days, man. Toe drag.
Toe drag feels nice. When you toe drag, you feel yourself changing gears. It's nice. It's nice. It's nice, that thing.
Yeah, it
But the
is, man.
price,
Hey.
when you want to buy those new spikes, you remember those toe drags. Hey,
It's funny. The better the toe drag, the more the damage, yeah?
facts. Facts. Hey, now you look at price of spikes like 3,000 for nice ones. All right.
But I don't know what, when you go to America, they will change. Hopefully, you know, they'll give you a spike for every occasion. I'm gonna look into your PVs. I forgot. I should have mentioned this in your CV. Obviously, I mean your times, man. Your times also speak volume. You know, 100-meter PB. You've got a 10.06, which is the new SA under 20 record. 200-meter PB, also on the same weekend, 20.50. How do you feel about those times, man? Obviously, man, the season was, yeah, everything happens for a reason. I say, man. I think to be
Mm.
able to clock what you did so early in the season, you know, and to like set yourself up for mean, years to come in such a short time. I want to ask a question, man. You did indoors in 2020. Tell
Yeah.
us what role did you running indoors play in what you ended up achieving? I mean, you ran the classic shootouts where you were killing it, you know, in the 150, the 60, and then it just continued in all these other um, events, you know. So, what role did the indoor season play in what you've achieved so far in 2020?
So with indoors, it's like it's way different to outdoors, especially since it's in America. You know, that's the home of indoor. There's a lot of competition. I mean, my rate, like just the 60 meters alone, had 32 heats runabout for the boys, and then the girls had 36 heats. So you think about the amount of heats, everyone is just you literally in, you run, you out, you in, you out, you in, you out, and
Yeah,
like, but everything is like so organized as well that side. I mean,
yeah,
obviously we were kind of different because everything there's like slightly more digitalized and everything, and you have
yeah.
to pay like the entrance fee is crazy. I think for the meet I had to pay like run about $20 just to run, just to say okay, I'm
$20.
gonna run. I think it's also to make sure people come because you know some people just register and just don't pitch.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know you're paying your own money, you're gonna pitch up, you know.
$20.
And
Man.
then pardon?
No, no, no. Carry on.
Yeah, so with the whole meet and everything, I mean it's crazy. So they just take top 32 out of all 32 heats, I think, or it's top 18 and then they say top 8 or 9, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
think about how many kids are there. If there are 8 lanes, 8 times 32 heats, you think it's a lot of kids. You know that you have to go crazy, you know?
And it's
And
America, you know?
then yeah. Hey, there's kids from everywhere. Kids flew in
Yeah.
from the north of America all the way to the to Houston to run that meet. You know, it's one of the biggest high school meets they have there. And
Wow.
then yeah, it was amazing, man. It was a lot of pressure. You can't even warm up properly there because the outdoor track, I remember it was raining. It was started drizzling and everything, so we had to come back inside. I literally had to warm up in like a 5 meter strip inside, and it was like a lot of pressure. But I mean, it's pressure like that that makes you like it forces you to rise to the occasion. And then yeah, like I ran a meet record. I ran the meet record at the Carl Lewis Invitational, and that also gave me a good perspective because they said run about with your indoor time. People came to me. I mean, a lot of universities didn't know that I really wanted to go to Houston when I was in there. They came to me.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, yeah, they came with offers and stuff. They're like, yeah, you're running collegiate times. This time would give you around about 10-2, 10-1 on 100, etc., etc. Because it was pretty early in the season. It's Jan, and I ran
Yeah,
665, which is like a
yeah.
10-2. So
Mm,
that's when I knew that I'm in a good place for my season. Me and my coach
mm,
have prepared pretty well,
mm.
and I knew I could go about my business efficiently.
Sure. No, man, I mean, it's inspiring. I mean, I think just the idea of going to compete in America, like, what mindset did you know, like, when you think track and field, man, you're always thinking, like, I think in any sport, you're always thinking America, you know?
Yeah.
Um, what type of, like, you know, somebody asked a question of what type of preparation do you do before a race leading up to your race? Let me, yeah, somebody, what is it? Oh, it's Black. That's the name of the person. It says, what is your ritual or mindset before a race? What are your preparations on the day? Let's say on the day where you ran the record. What type of mental
So
preparations do you go through, you know, before
so I
to the
so,
blocks?
oh for the day I broke the record.
Yeah, that's what they asked specifically. Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure it's pretty much the same ritual. But like, let's talk about that day.
So the 200 I didn't do as well as I hoped because I had a lot going on that day. I had to after that final I had to dash to Johannesburg for an interview on 402. And then I got back home. I remember I had a lot on my mind because I didn't know where I was now because I was like, yo, I came third. And then I
Hey,
ran a good time, 20.5 in the heat, and
tight
then the
race.
finals and 20.6. So it's not bad times, but for me, I always wanted more. And that's the thing,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
competitive drive of always wanting more. So I
yeah,
decided to come back home. I came back home to my little house, and then I put in my earphones. I called Coach Carl. Coach Carl was still up by then because I think it was just morning for him. I spoke to him. I told him
yeah,
exactly
yeah,
what
yeah.
happened. I told him what's happening tomorrow. And then, yeah, like we spoke for around about 20, 30 minutes. He told me to relax, told me not to think about it too much. It happens sometimes. But the main thing is for me
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make sure that the next day I execute everything. So I had a call with him.
Mm,
Obviously, he gave me some words of wisdom. I called both my coaches that night as well. They also gave me words of wisdom. Then before I slept that race, and before I slept that night, I watched like 5 videos of my races that I ran this season. So it was the 60 indoor, the 60 outdoor, the 150, and I think 100 league meets I ran.
yeah,
So I watched those races and I was looking at every single part of my race where I could have made an error, mostly my starts. And then I realized some races I was not aggressive enough in my start. Some races I didn't transition well. So, I mean,
yeah.
everything, I was just taking note of it and I was just paying it. I was just drilling it in my head. So by the time
Mm,
I woke up Saturday morning, I had a clear mind. I forgot that yesterday was the past. I'm focused on today. And I knew. I put it on my notes that I'm going to break the essay record that day.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just knew. So
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. You know, when you have a good feeling, you just type it somewhere
yeah.
like, nah,
When you know,
this is
you
going to
know.
happen,
When
you
you
know?
know, you know.
So the heat came. I remember before the heat came, I had my earphones in, I had my music blasting. I was minding my own, I was just avoiding people. I was like, nah, today is big business. I can't be entertaining and chatty. I just stayed in my own circle. I had to stay in my own circle, focus on me. I'm like, no, today's my day. I need to do what I came here to do. And I went about it. So I had my music, I warmed up nicely. My coach came, he stretched me, everything. The heat came, I think I was with Elviano. My coach told me, he said, don't go hard in the heat. So
Your
now
coach.
I let Elviano, yeah, Coach Tabo,
Oh, Coach Tabo. Tabo Mati Big D. Shout out to Big
the
T-Boss.
goat, the goat,
Coach
the goat.
T-Boss. Sorry, carry on, man. Carry on.
Yeah. So he told me not to go hard in my heat. Because I mean I was behind Akani. I was literally behind Akani's blocks when he ran that 991. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
it's 10 in the morning. It's 10 in the morning. People are chopping close to their PBs. I'm like, yo, this is
That's
pressure.
crazy. Yeah,
So
that's
I was
crazy.
there, I'm sweating. I'm like, yo,
Yo.
that means they might even expect something crazy from me. But I'm like, I'm not mad at these people. I'm just gonna do what I came here to do. Spoke to my coach, told me stick to the plan. When my
Yeah.
coach says stick to the plan, I'm not doing anything else. I stuck to the plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember that heat. Alviano came. So the start I went pretty well. First 60, I was ahead. Then I started easing down because he said he only wanted a 10-5 from me in the heat.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
I ran 10-5-0.
Mm.
Alviano passed me, ran 10-2-8. Then semifinals came. This one I knew. That's when I knew. I'm like, I hear the weather is
Hey,
nice, the wind is nice, it's behaving. I'm like, I hear I'm making it fall. So there I am in the blocks. I'm in the blocks. I'm in the blocks, keeping composure. Literally 10 seconds before I went in the blocks, my coach is like, Ashile, it's a record. It's Yatsama.
I see.
Ashile, it's a record. Yatsama. I knew. I knew. So I got in my blocks. I was a bit anxious that race. I was a bit
Yeah,
anxious
yeah.
because I knew I was gonna do something special,
Yeah.
And then on your marks, set, go. The rest is history. The rest is history.
Hey.
Yeah.
Man, it's like, like from our side of like from just capturing the race, like we came to AGN championships and we know like something's always gonna happen, I mean we
Mm.
rock up there, we set up cameras for that one. I mean we don't get any financial backing to be there, we just said, hey
Yeah.
guys, put a camera up, because end of the day, man, moments like that cannot. I mean, it's heats and semis, everybody thinks it's gonna
Mm.
happen in finals, but we
Yeah.
we, we just decided, even Akani's 991. I mean, it was in the heat, so
Yeah.
we just knew that something always erupts on that blue track, man. I don't know
Mm.
what I won, but something always erupts. And as you came over the line, I remember I was literally like, I was by the line there. I'm like,
I
I clocked
remember.
there, 10:07. Next thing, I'm running after you there. I'm like, let's take the photo quickly. And then
Before
he
they
brings
clear the time. I
before they take
remember.
the
Yo.
time. And then, you know what I mean? That photo, man, that
Yeah.
photo is going to the world. You know what I mean? And then, next thing, brings me to the next important thing. And I was like, do the celebration. You know, I was like,
Mm.
do the celebration. You know, and the celebration in itself, man. Just tell us what inspired you to do the celebration the first time. I remember I was there the first time when you did it as well. What inspired you to do that, man? I mean, I think that's one of the things that has set you apart from most of the guys. Just explain it.
So
What is the mindset behind it?
so I've been since I came back from America. I remember when I was in America, I was watching a lot of college football there, you know, and
Yeah,
every
yeah,
time touchdown, you just see these guys have their own celebrations going and stuff. So one day I was
yeah.
like, I was bored. I was bored. I was bored. So I'm like, let me see NFL best celebrations. So I started watching these celebrations and stuff. So I saw one separate one where someone just unlocked the safe, and then someone else made another celebration of him unlocking the safe and taking out the money.
Yeah.
And then I
Hey.
just combined both of them. And then, yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
taking out the money, walking with it, and then you leave, you know? And then, yeah,
yeah.
like it just, it just hazard me, you know? It just had that thing with me. I just loved it.
I remember we captured the thing that the first time the first one was a small one, and then
Yeah.
the next time we did it, I don't remember if it was a league or something. I was like, let's do it again, you know. And this time we actually captured the video where you actually unlocking it. The first, it was a night race. I don't know if it was a
Yeah, it
Puma
was a
race.
Puma School of Speed. School of Speed.
Yeah. And we put that up and everybody went crazy. They're like, yo, this is,
Yeah.
you know. And then from there on, you know, I always just remember, listen, do the celebration. Because for me as a, you know, I always watch the sport as a fan, you know what I mean? I always watch the sport as a spectator. And I think that's what makes us so different with Backtrack, because we know we like athletes. We are athletes, you know. So we know what we want to see, but we also know what the world and the rest of South Africa needs to see. Is that
Mm.
here are these talented athletes, they're entertaining, you know what I mean? These guys should be bringing in sponsors, stadiums must be full. There's youngsters, there's potential. We've got world-class athletes, you know what I mean? It's captured. It's not something they heard of or an article in the newspaper. There's a video, you know what I mean? See
Yeah.
what they're doing, and let's back them, you know, let them shine, let's back them, let the world see. I mean, Jumpers World also went, they're like, listen, we want to see that video, man, can we share it? I was like, hey man, share
Yeah.
it. 60,000 or so views on that, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, man. I mean, I think you're onto something, and yeah, keep on it, man. The world is gonna love it. Uh, Obviously, you must win the races, dog, to get the celebration.
Of course.
That's what people don't understand. So
Yeah.
that's your reward for putting in all that hard work, you know.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna go to questions now. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. Um, a question here from Smeedy says, "What is the time you want to run on the 100 meter in the next 2 years?" I think that's it's similar to the question we were asked before. Do you want to answer that one?
Oh, I mean, I kind of already said it, but like, yeah, I'm not gonna, as I said, like put a really hard on goal and say, okay, now I want to run
Yeah,
a 9.8 within the next 2 years, because I could surprise myself and run maybe the 9.8 next year,
yeah,
or
yeah,
maybe in the next 3 years, you know. But at the end of the day, it's about how I'm feeling. It's about how my body's reacting, like is reacting well to the training or not.
yeah,
But I'm just hoping. Obviously, everyone has the best hope for themselves when it comes to training and preparation and competing, etc. So, it's best for me to focus on everyday training, and
yeah, yeah.
then when it's time for me to race, I'll see for myself.
There's another question here. This is from Kuno. He says, "Who do you think will be that one person you'll be consistently competing with?" I don't know. Do you know who that person would be?
I wouldn't say one, but I could say I can name a couple of guys. I can name a couple of
Yeah.
guys. I
First start in
mean,
SA, and then you can go abroad if you think it's gonna be abroad. Like, who's
yeah.
that one guy in SA that you know always pushes you to the line? Who's
Dambile.
that person? Hey, Sine
Ah,
Sipho.
Dambile.
Sine
Sinisipo.
Sipho
I make sure.
Dambile.
Yeah, he makes me work. He makes me work. Especially there
Hey.
by that 200. He makes me work.
As a warrior.
He makes me work. Mm.
Warrior.
And then yeah, there's also Eckhart. Eckhart is also on the rise. He's also on the rise. I mean,
Yeah.
he's coming up
Potatoes.
pretty well. If I'm looking at guys my age, yeah, it's say similar guys, you know, Eckhart, there's Dambile, there's also Tabang Hlosho,
Oh,
um
shotgun flavor.
Ish, yeah, Power Babe. He calls himself Power Babe, you know. So there's
Yeah,
also
yeah,
him. And then in the international circuit, I mean, I don't know. The thing is that a lot of guys after junior, they kind of either go into like
yeah,
their own personal craft or they don't really continue with athletics and stuff. But I mean,
yeah,
I would love to be racing Christian Coleman on a regular, and Noah Lyles in them, you know,
yeah,
just to always
yeah.
compete with the best in the world. Oh, also, yeah, someone is mentioning Luke Davids as well. Luke Davids, I can't forget him. Also,
Oh,
hey, he was making me work at Africans as well, you know.
hey, look, you look at some hectic. Even if I think of last year, the SHMs there in battle.
Yeah.
Hey, that girl making shit at home, huh?
I slept in the blocks in the 100. I was sleeping. I caught me off guard. Caught me off guard. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, he moves. He moves. It means business.
No, it means business. So obviously, there's a lot of. Let me see what other questions we've got here, and then I'm gonna move to some of my questions. I think we've covered. Here's one from Amaru. They call me Amaru. He says, Broly, what did Houston offer that the other D1 colleges didn't? Yeah. So, what made you choose Houston? It sounds like you got a very good relationship with Carl Lewis, the legend himself. Imagine, rubbing shoulders with Carl Lewis. That's amazing. So, what made you choose Houston over the other universities, for instance?
So all the universities I visited, I mean, there was like a huge list, but I knew I was gonna get bored of the visits if I just went on all five of them. But
Yeah,
all of them had something special about them, you know,
yeah,
whether it's the
yeah,
facilities or the relationship with the coach and the athletes, etc., etc. But the one thing that like America, you know how Americans market, you know, that's the true like epitome of capitalism. They'll always bring down the other university, but in a nice way. They'll be like, you know what, that university doesn't have an Olympic sprinter within the last 5 years. That
yeah.
university has not made more Olympians than us. That university, you know, they always have a story for each university. It's like Valley the prep. Okay, which other visits you going on? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you know, and then I remember like in December when because I didn't know I didn't get an offer from Houston until December. So
Yeah,
I was hell bent on going to University of Florida. Like I wanted to go to University of Florida, U of H. I mean U of F. So much. Like I was so like ready to go there, you know. And they didn't come back to me until like after I signed my national letter of intent, you know. But with Houston, for me, the relationship with Coach Carl and Coach Burrell was like so instant. The first
yeah,
call I had was Coach Burrell. I remember I was on vac. I was sitting on my bed. He sends me a WhatsApp message, tells me who he is. He's like, "Can I call you?" I'm being called by this guy, a legend. I'm like, you know, already I'm like, yo, I'm like, no, so you can call right now. He calls me. And we spoke for like 3 hours. We spoke for 3 hours, told me about Coach Carl. Also, the plans they have already for me. You know, I mean, they already knew everything about me. They knew everything, you know. So they knew which events I do, what's my strongest. So it was quite crazy how they studied me in detail. And they're like, nah, we need him for this. Because they told me like straight up, they're like, nah, any kid, it's not like any kid can just run 10.2 or 20.7 at the time, right? But
yeah,
like
yeah,
they can get guys in JUCO, like junior college, to run those times. So that was the one thing. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can run 10.2, yeah, I can run 20.7, but what else can you bring to the table? And then they
yeah.
saw long jump. They're like, nah,
No,
not many kids of his build are still doing long jump 100 and 200, you
yeah,
know. So that was the one thing that made it special. Then Coach Carl told me that caught his attention, and he wanted to work with me from that regard. And then I spoke to Coach Carl on the phone as well for like a couple of hours, and then we kind of made it a reality. I mean, already when I started my visits, it was crazy. I remember I was tweeting about it all the time. I said I can't decide because all these visits are so amazing. You know, like
yeah.
everything you just experience a different world.
Yeah, yeah,
in terms of how you treated as a student athlete in certain countries, certain universities, the status and everything. So even me, I was just a recruit, but everyone was like, there's that nice way we're nice to you because you're a recruit. Then there's just that nice that like, wait, this guy is, he's something special, because they're
yeah.
like, oh, you from, that typical American, oh, you from Africa. Yeah,
Africa.
we heard a lot about Africa. So I mean, yeah, there was also that, but I mean, overall, like the chemistry I built already. I have like a couple of friends already in Houston. I already have roommates already from Houston. They messaged me. I didn't even ask to be roommates with them. They said like, yo, there's two of us. We're still looking for guys, but we think you'd be a great guy for our roommate. Wada wada wada. They
Wow.
told me my story, and I mean, just their relationship, the way it went off, it just made me choose Houston because it felt like home. It reminded me a lot like
Yeah,
home.
yeah. No, man, big up. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's just interesting to hear. I mean, this is a big deal. I think this is like it's a proper big deal. We've seen what competing in America and that collegiate what is the system does for the athletes, especially South African athletes. If you look at somebody like Ning TT, shout
Yeah,
out to TT. We miss you, man. But he went there. He's done well. Derek Mukalene has been doing well. George Kushka, he's been doing well. Karina Filioun, Dominic Scott. I mean, that's where she started. So there's a whole list of guys who are doing well. I know Anaso was also in America studying there. Slightly different route that he took, but I mean, it worked for him as well. So, we wishing you the best in that journey, and hopefully, man, you're gonna bring back some big news for us. So, like, tell me, man, we're gonna wrap it up soon. Uh, we're gonna wrap it up soon. Obviously, you might have things to do, but the
yeah.
people want. It looks like the people wanna see you, man. They wanna hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
Um, the next question I wanna ask is like obviously like going to America, education is okay. I think I've got two more questions. Education is one of those that's like very important. So on an education point of view, what is your plan or your goal going to America? Obviously, to get into those universities, you have to be intelligent. So which means you're a smart guy, uh, basically,
Yeah, I try.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you try. Yeah, I study when I need to. But what are your education goals? Going to America. I mean, it's a good way to set yourself up for the future as well.
So with me, I've always loved business. I've always loved money, and I loved how money works, and I love finding ways in which money can work for me. So I've always been business orientated.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
sports, there was always the business part of me. And that's
yeah,
the one
yeah.
thing my mom noticed from like a young age. So I mean I did pretty well in high school with like certain subjects. Math not so much, but like when it came to like business,
Yeah,
I did pretty well. And like English. So I was more like, yeah, I was still like focused on academics. It was tough during high school because sports, balancing sports and academics, especially when you were leaving a lot, when you're
wow.
always traveling, it's quite heavy. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I'm still focused on studying. I want to study business when I get to America. I haven't decided exactly what I'm gonna major in, but I have kind of like an idea of what my two majors might most likely be, and then after that, obviously, the main point for me to going to America is for my degree.
Yeah.
And then after that, like after I get my degree, then I can think about like going pro, et cetera, et cetera, because it's better to go pro when you have a degree.
Okay, that's cool, man. Yeah. So with that, I mean, being business minded, uh, what are some of the things that you did that you said your mom identified that you had a business? Were you the guy selling? Were you selling sweets in a break? What were you doing, man?
So I mean, there was always ways, there's always a way to hustle. But I mean, I remember in my boarding house, gents, like for example, small thing in the boarding house, when gents needed cool drinks and stuff,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the tuck shop
You were the
closed. The,
plug.
the, the house tuck shop closed. Like, yeah. So I always stacked up my fridge with cool drinks, charge them nice, and make my money. or like I'd be like a middleman for like buying
Yeah.
food, like, you know, when it comes to ordering, etc., etc. Borrow a couple of guys money every now and then, you know. So there's always something. There's always ways to make money. You just need to put your mind to it and like, oh, okay, yeah, you know.
Nah, cool, man.
So yeah,
We're gonna bring in. We've got one of our co-founders at Backtrack is Lian Furi. He competed the Olympics. He was an Olympic finalist in the 110-meter hurdles. So he's into finance and financial side of the world, you know. So we will get you to chat with him. Maybe you can have a conversation with him one of these days live. I think that'll be interesting because I think finance is one of those things that, especially as you, I mean, you're a junior athlete, you're gonna be going into a different type of you know, almost a semi-professional type of sport. But then as you transition into professional athletics as well, you know, you need to be clued up. So we must hook that up so that you can, you know, I think there's a lot of athletes that need to hear this, especially in South Africa, because in South Africa the money is not rolling in that easily.
yeah,
But you know, the education is always key, man. That's what we always say. And I mean, that's what I like about South African athletics. Every athlete is studying while trying to be pro because we don't have
yeah,
any other option. You know what I mean?
that's true.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's gonna be exciting. And just to wrap it up, final question. Let me see if there's anything else over here. Uh, okay. Yeah. So pretty much the final question I wanted to ask, like, obviously, you're gonna be going to the States. So just tell us, like, what is what role do you feel like Backtrack has played in your time here in SA, and what type of role would you like us to play when you are abroad in America? You know, we try to cover as much as we can in America so that people in South Africa must still know that, you know, you're doing well and they want to hear that news. You know what I mean? Everybody loves to hear that South Africans are doing well, no matter where they are in the world. That's how we always sharing about Dominic Scott. We try to share about George Kushka, the other guys as well, Berger. My Jenje recently also got, you know, so we want to tell these stories, you know. So firstly, what role do you feel like Backtrack has played in your time here, and what role would you like us to play when you're gone?
So
Sure.
one of the most important things I appreciate about Backtrack is the fact that they, like, you guys played an important role with me getting a scholarship, because a lot of the videos obviously I took, right, but they're like taken on my phone, so they're not as professional, because I just have to ask someone like, yo dog, can you please take a video, you know. And the fact that I knew that, like, okay, at certain, like at a league meet, for example, there will always be a video taken. So even if I
Mm.
know that if I do well or I'm not doing so well, I can still get access to the footage. I can see where I
Yeah,
can improve my game, etc., etc.
yeah,
So that's the one thing. Also, and it's also been easier for me to market myself
yeah,
because I have all these videos. I mean, I've had the videos since I still have videos from my essays in 2016. You know,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
things
Crazy,
I
yeah,
appreciate. You know,
crazy. That's
so
four
I mean,
years of
I
footage.
don't even know. Pardon? I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you because
Sorry, man. I'm saying it's crazy. It's like 4 years of footage, man. Yeah, you can carry on.
yeah. So I mean, it's things like that, and some people like, they're like, you know, ish, they got a video of me coming last, but to someone else, it's like, yo, they got me. They got a video of me doing something special, you know, and it's very rare for that to happen. And it's those small things you gotta appreciate. That's why when if Backtrack says I want an interview, I'm like, I'm there. I'm the first person there, because I know, I'm like, hey, the spotlight doesn't come mahala sometimes. So, you know, you have to appreciate it and be grateful for it. So yeah, I mean, everything about Backtrack I just love, because everything is organized. You know that, okay, after your race you can have an interview, etc., etc. And the role I wish, well, I want Backtrack to continue playing is that they're like, the platform is already used to like identify talent, you know, and obviously the more talent it can be identified, the more people can like get scholarships, the more people can get
Yeah,
scouted. So it's a very good platform, and I love the way it's growing. I mean, I think your page is almost on 10K followers.
yeah,
Soon, I mean, from 10K it's going to be 20, from 20 it's going to be
yeah.
30. You know, so it's just all about reaching out, and that's the one thing I appreciate.
Super, man. Yeah, like, you know what? I just want to thank you for, you know, we're always looking for for special moments in track and field, man. And you know, in your 4 years, and you know, like even this year as well. I mean, you played a big role in creating more special moments. You know, when records are falling, it shows that, you know, the potential is not, there's not only potential, but we've got all these gems, you know what I mean, that need to be discovered. And there's so many more guys. I mean, you mentioned a few already, but yeah, I mean, you know, thanks for thanks for playing your role, and thanks for shining,
I
man, because
appreciate it.
it puts South African athletics on the map. Somebody says, play the game. What's in his bag? What's in his bag? What is in that bag that you take it out?
What?
What is it? Oh yeah, play. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? Is a question we asked? Was it the 30-second game we played? Where we asked, what's in your bag? You know, what's in your athletics track and field bag?
Ish. That question. Caught me low key, caught me off guard. Yo. Ish. But yeah, I don't know.
We'll leave it from there. But yeah, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for your time.
I
Phatutshedzo
appreciate it.
Maswanganyi. The Americans need to learn. We don't want to hear you using the word. We don't want to hear you using the name Sean, man. You have to use Phatutshedzo. Huh?
It's too late. It's too
They
late.
need to learn. They need to learn.
It's too late. I already registered as Sean.
We don't want you. We don't want you to be called Sean, man. We want you. We want they must be fighting with Phatutshedzo Maswanganyi.
It's not gonna be used. It's just not gonna be that much because I know these people. They can't pronounce. They can't. Next.
Nah, man. But yeah, thanks for your time. Keep shining, man. We're gonna be looking out for you the whole time. What's in the bag? Another person is asking again. Keep shining, and thanks for everything, man. We're gonna be looking out for you. We're gonna keep finding young talent, and we're gonna just keep also supporting you. Once you're in America, what do you wanna say to everybody who's watching and that was listening up today, and all those who support you? What do you wanna say in closing?
I mean, thanks for having me, Timber. It really means a lot for me to speak on this platform. Hopefully, I inspired a lot more kids. And I just want to keep doing what I do. And while I do that, I hope I'm obviously inspiring other kids, as well as just growing the sport. I also want to like grow the sport as a whole. You know, it's not always about me. It's always about what you can do for your community and for other people as well. You know. So thank you.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, man. We will catch
Thanks.
up again soon. But thanks for your time. Thanks to everybody who watched, guys. We really appreciate it. BackChat, chatting to all the South African athletes that are shining. You know, so yeah, man. We'll catch up some other time. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys soon. Thursday, we're gonna be back with a different athlete. So make sure that you continue to tune in, guys, as we hear these stories and so on. Thanks a lot. BackChat. Let's go.